All right, making sure we're live. Looks like we're, yes, no, it's going through. There we go, all right. Today we're gonna be doing a dumbbell workout using a set of dumbbells and a bench to do a full body workout. So we're gonna start with some upper body exercises, work to some lower body exercises. So if you wanna do this with me, grab a set of dumbbells and let's go ahead and get started. So before we start, or before we go into heavy weights, I'm going to start with a lighter dumbbell to warm up the muscles. That gets blood flow into the muscles. We're gonna be doing the same exercises to warm up, to specifically target those muscles in the way that we're gonna be working them to warm them up. So I'm gonna grab a bench. We're gonna start with an incline bench press. So for this, I set my bench to 45 degrees. And that gets more of those upper fibers of the chest. And I'm gonna start with a 30-pound dumbbell, which is 10 pounds lighter than what I'm gonna be doing for my working sets. Now, working sets just means the sets where we start counting the exercise. So for this, I'm gonna put the dumbbells on my knees, kick my legs up to get it right in front of my shoulders. I'm gonna push my chest out. Hang on just a second. So my shoulder blades are pinched back together, putting my hands right at the front of my shoulders. From here, I'm going to go pushing up towards the front and then back down, all the way down to tap the outside of my shoulder. Keeping my chest out, pinching my shoulder blades together. Now I'm just going through the full range of motion to let that muscle tense up and then stretch out. Doing about 10 reps of this just to warm up, get some blood flow into the muscle. And from here, I'm gonna pair this with a dumbbell bent over row because we just did a pushing exercise. Now we're gonna do a pulling exercise. So this works the opposite muscles. Now I don't have to move that far. I can just lean against the bench, bend over towards the front, keeping my back straight. And I'm gonna pinch my elbows up to, or pinch my shoulder blades together and pull my elbows up towards the ceiling. And this is working the muscles in the upper back and shoulder blade. And just doing about 10 reps of those, just getting some blood flow into those muscles. Now, if you'd like, if you feel like you still feel a little cold, a little stiff, you could go back to do one more set of warm up on the chest and back. So we're just gonna jump into that. Just 10 more reps each side. And going into 10 more rows, keeping the back flat, pulling up to the back. Man, it's amazing. I've been stretching out my leg over the last couple days, working on this muscle in here. And it's actually helped my back feel a lot better. Now, if you want to know more about that, I have a video coming up about that because I think it's so cool how the body's interconnected. Sometimes you don't realize what's going on at your leg. It's actually affecting all the way up here. One time, sometimes even something like your lats, which attach across your shoulder up here, but down into your waist. So I was having back pain from my lats pulling on my low back. So I stretched out my lats and then my back pain went away. It's pretty amazing how your body's interconnected. A lot of people don't realize how what happens in your legs translates all the way up your body. All right, now we're gonna move to some heavier weights. So, we're going into our working sets, and this is where we start counting the number of sets we do. I'm aiming for 5 sets for these exercises. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend aiming for 1 or 2 sets and seeing how you feel. So as you work out, as you build up that tissue, you'll be able to increase the number of sets as you go. Try first week though, try 1 or 2 sets, see how it feels, and then gradually add over time. So you can add maybe 1 set per week after that till you find what's a good limit for you. So for me, I found that I can manage 5 sets in 1 workout. Now I do find in my legs, it's a little harder to manage that, but we're gonna try something a little different for legs today to see how that goes. So, if you're just joining us, we're doing a full body workout. We're just moving into our working sets where we're doing incline bench press. So starting with the dumbbells on my knees, kicking up to the front. I'm aiming for 13 reps. Now anything around 10 is just fine. But for me, I'm trying to add 1 rep per week. And last week was 12, so this week is 13. But I'm trying to keep good form all the way through. So I'm going all the way down to my shoulder. Twelve. 13. All right. And now going straight into rows. So same weight, gonna bend over, back straight. So I'm gonna look up towards the front to help keep my back straight, pulling up to the back, and then all the way out to letting my dumbbells fully hang. And that hang is what's gonna really stretch that muscle and create high tension to help grow that muscle. It's called tension-mediated hypertrophy. It causes that. Wow. 13. Man. This took a lot out. I'm gonna grab a quick sip of water. Now, if you're joining us, I do all my workouts live on stream. So what I'm doing is what you see is what you get. I am not telling you to do one thing and then doing something different. So if you want to be part of this, we want to work out, see real workouts and the results of those workouts. If you want to be here, joining part of this community, getting encouragement or looking for help, or just someone to talk to while you work out, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Drop by and we can talk and see what you're going through. Oh. A lot of times people stop working out or they fail to work out because they don't have anyone helping them. There is no support. So if I can help you in any way, just being there for you even. If you have questions, I have a degree in exercise science. I'd love to help. Set number 2. Wow. That is hitting hard today. Yeah, for some reason my heart rate is a lot higher than it usually would be. So I'm giving it a second to let that drop back down. Yeah, some days are like that, just harder to work out. Your body's building up fatigue a lot faster. All right, so that was set 2. Man, I don't know what it is today, but my heart rate's going a lot higher, a lot faster. So I'm letting my heart rate come back down. I'm trying to let it drop down to below 130, which it's getting down there pretty quickly. But some days, depends on how you sleep, what you had the previous day. Maybe your body is dealing with a little bit of fighting something, some sort of germ. So some days are like that in the gym. It's about being as consistent as you can on the things you can control, so that when the things you can't control don't trip you up as much. So I try and control my diet, my sleep, where I'm going to bed and waking up at the same time, where I'm trying to stay consistent on what I'm eating. Something I've done in the last year is everything I've eaten for the last year has gone into a food journal. So I'm very careful about tracking everything and making sure that I'm eating good or eating well. Now, I found that's what works for me, is I track all calories and try and get the right macros, which which means getting the right amount of carbs, fats, and proteins every day. Oh, wow. Okay, so I got to 12. Now, as long as I'm pushing the muscle, or I have that muscle fatigue building up, that is okay. Even if I don't hit the exact number, I'm more looking for how does that muscle feel after doing that workout. Whew. Man, you can really see it. So what I was talking about with the legs, if you look at my stomach here, if I'm like this, stomach is more flat. If I bring my legs wider, my stomach actually pushes out because I can't engage my abs because this leg is so tight that it's pulling on the fascia, which is the connective tissue of my abs. And so it's stopping those abs from contracting. Especially the lower abs. All right, we're on set 3, and we need to do rows. So going into rows. Now I try and keep my workouts consistent on what exercises I'm doing, because if I'm switching up the exercises a ton, I'm not actually gonna be able to grow the muscle consistently because it's changing slowly over time. So it's good to take a couple exercises over the months rather than days. Wow. Oh, man. That takes a lot out of my shoulders today. So, repeating an exercise. Hang on a second. So, repeating an exercise across multiple weeks can actually help grow the muscle little by little. Let's say, so on average, people can expect to about 1/4 pound of muscle gain per week. So 1/4 pound, it's not a huge amount if you think about a 1/4 pounder burger spread across your whole body. So we want to do this repeatedly, week after week. Now, results do vary on it. Some people gain more, some people gain less. But somewhere around there is a good ballpark to aim for. And if you're growing that little by little, we want to do it multiple weeks, week after week, to build up that muscle to get bigger, stronger, healthier muscles. Thinking about if I want to stop here, because I'm hitting a point where my body is having to drop reps. And I think that I think I'm gonna move on to other exercises. So we'll do 3 sets today, because I'm starting to have a strength drop where my muscle is not, it's fatiguing out. Maybe I'll just give it a little bit more rest time. No, I've been resting here for a little bit, but I want to see if I can get to 5 sets. Right now, we just finished our 3rd. Got 2 more left to go, but I want to make sure that I can keep that working and able to recover. So let's try. see how it goes. If I can't get to 12 reps, then I'll move on to the next exercise. So I'm trying to really focus in, lock in on this exercise. Oh, 12. All right. Oh, hi. Can definitely feel that in my chest. All right, set 4 of rows. And 12. Oh. Yeah, heart rate's up at 160. Man. So we're just doing upper body exercises right now. We'll move to lower body exercises in just a second. What do you guys think? I want to shift to lower body right now. One more of upper body. One more set. I think we should probably do one more set. Can you hear my heartbeat going? I can see it on the volume monitor of the heartbeat. Doom, 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 doom. Hopefully that's not coming through the mic too much. All right, heart's starting to come back down. We're gonna try for one more set. We'll get this upper body, we'll close it out strong, and then we'll move to some lower body exercises. So I'd like to do full body, where we're doing upper body and lower body all in one day. And then I have a rest day between. So I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Join me if you wanna be here live working out with me, or if you want to just come in, talk, tell me what you're doing in your workout today. I want to help people learn how to build strong, healthy muscles, avoid injuries in the gym, and get stronger and healthier together. All right, one more set. Last one. Man, it's taking me a second to get mentally ready for this. A lot of people don't realize how much your nerves and your cognitive, your head affects your workout. So being focused, not being tired, makes a big difference. I think, so for me, being tired impacts my lifts way more than being hungry does. Do you know what? I want to do 5, but I'm already feeling like, man, my muscles hurt. My shoulders are feeling it. And I think I should stop there and not push my body into the extremes. That's what I tend to do. I tend to do things more extreme than I need to, and that's a way to get injured. I've hurt muscles and bones doing that. So I'm gonna try and be a little bit more reserved, be more reasonable, and limit my workout this time to make sure I can always work out next time. So in 2 days from now, I wanna work out again. So I'm not gonna overdo it today. I'm gonna come back stronger on Friday. So let's slide this out of the way and we'll move to some leg exercises. I think that was the biggest thing that's changed in my workouts. I used to just push into pain and difficulty, and it's okay to have a little discomfort, but I was pushing way too far where I would get myself injured. Now I'm trying to be a little bit more mature, a little more reasonable about it, stay consistent rather than trying to go extreme and then lose that consistency. Because consistency, hey, Lars, good to see you. Hey, I saw you've been working out as well on YouTube. That's awesome. That's very cool. I like your setup. All right, we're gonna be doing something different for legs. We've done this before, but it's been a little while. So we're gonna do what's called a sumo squat. I'll show you without the dumbbell first. So normal squat, your feet are about shoulder width apart. For a sumo squat, I'm gonna go double shoulder width. So in martial arts, we would call this a horseback riding stance, where you're down here like this. So we would do punches like this. It's a very stable stance. So it's very low to the ground. So the thing this does is it really stretches out these adductor muscles on the inside of your thigh and strengthens them. So for me, this side is very tight. So I want to do a sumo squat to not only strengthen these muscles, but also stretch them and strengthen them in that stretched position. So what we're gonna do, we'll just do it 10 times without a dumbbell. Normally I'd be holding a dumbbell like this or like this in front of me. So you can just have your hands right here, bending your knees down, pushing your hips out to the back. You should feel that opening up those thighs. Going down, you can have your hands wherever is comfortable for balance. Now I can really feel these muscles having to stretch in that position. And when I'm doing this, I'm letting my hips drop to the back, so I'm keeping my back straight. Like that. So I'm not rounding to the front. So for me, those muscles in here, they actually attach up into the same connective tissue of your abs. So for me, my abs are having trouble working on this side because this muscle is so tight. So I'm gonna be strengthening and stretching it with this one exercise. So now, moving to a sumo squat. So I'm holding with 2 hands. Feet double shoulder width apart, nice and wide, keeping the knees out. So I'm going down where the dumbbell almost touches the ground. Should feel that a lot more in the inside of my thigh. Ooh. 15. So this is actually, I can feel this pulling in, so it's pulling this way or on my knee a bit. So as this loosens up, my knees actually feel better too, because the knees pay for things that are happening at the ankle and the hip. So if things are wrong at the hip, then the knee gets affected. But as I'm warming up, as I'm feeling that muscle stretch out, my knee on my left side actually feels better too. All right, so I'm gonna pair a sumo squat with some curls. So while I'm waiting for my heart rate to come back down, I'm gonna throw in some wall curls to strengthen this bicep in here. So with your back flat against the wall, stops your body from moving. With my hands pointed straight towards the front, and then from here, I'm gonna pull up to the front of my shoulder and then back down. I'm gonna do this right here so you can see a little easier what I'm doing. So head and hips. So I want my hands straight out in front, pulling up and back out towards the front a bit. And 12. Man. So, definitely fatiguing a lot faster today. Just watching my heart rate is climbing up. It's drifting up higher and higher, much more often. So I'm cooling off. I'm actually putting my palms on the steel because that actually helps cool off my body faster. So if you have, you can even do this with a water bottle. Putting your hands on a cool water bottle help your heart rate drop quicker because you have a lot of little blood arteries and veins in your palms. So it helps cool off your body. So palms and soles of your feet. That's why putting your feet in water, like in a pool, cools your whole body really quickly. Excuse me. So today, just my body's feeling a lot more fatigue, it seems. I don't know if it's the weather or what. It has been raining here, so maybe there's stuff in the air. I know I have to deal a lot with that with seasonal allergies. So maybe I'm breathing in more stuff in my lungs. But I just can tell you, I'm feeling the fatigue set in today, so I'm gonna do what I can and then not worry about what I can't do. I'm just gonna get everything I can done though. Everything my body's able to. So what I'm watching for is that my heart rate drops back down, letting my heat dissipate, letting my body cool off. So right now it's at 145, it was up at 160, it's dropping pretty quickly, but a lot of that is just heat dissipation. All right. It's okay to let your heart rate come back down. You want your limiter to be your muscles, not your heart. So we're not doing cardio, we're doing resistance training to build strong, healthy muscles. So because of that, we want to let your heart rate come back down so that you can challenge the muscle, not challenge your heart and lungs. So for this, we're working the muscles in our thighs, especially these adductors on the inside of the thigh. So going double shoulder width, dumbbell right in front, pushing your knees out to open up those hips. From here, bending down and then back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 12. I'm aiming for about 12 reps on those. So that's about what this muscle can take. Can feel it really having to pull. My knees, my hips feel fine, but those adductors really feel that doing that exercise. So we're only as strong as our weakest link. So, when working on a muscle, you can only go, if you're doing a common movement, say your arms give out, but your chest is still strong, means you have to stop there. So you might need to do some isolation movements, like what we're doing here, where on rows, my lats give out, but my biceps still have energy. They're not having to work as hard. So that's why we're doing dumbbell curls to isolate these biceps to get everything we can out of them. So, for this, we're gonna close with this and then do some stretching. So, doing a wall curl, keeping your back flat against the wall, going out towards the front with the bicep. And 12. This helps keep strict control of the bicep to have your back flat like that. All right. So we're gonna close with some stretching. So we're gonna start out by stretching the hamstrings. So what you're gonna do is put one foot in at your knee and then one foot out to the front. This is the leg we're stretching. So from here, bring your chest forward, feeling that stretch in the back of your straight leg. Now if you want to, if you have something to grab onto, you could pull yourself forward till you feel that stretch. We're gonna end with some stretching today. Try something a little different. A lot of people neglect stretching. I think it's such a benefit. I feel so much better in my legs having done stretching. Where I have more mobility, where I've built up not only strength, but flexibility in my workout. And everything's all warmed up and loose, so it's easy to stretch because there's blood flow in the joint and muscle. And switch to the other side. Whoop. And pulling to the front, so trying to bring your chest forward. So I'm not rounding at my back, I'm trying to bring my chest forward to feel that stretch in the back of my thigh. I'm trying to hold this at least 20 seconds, but ideally I'm holding for more like 30 seconds. All right, now we're gonna stretch the muscles on the inside of the thigh. So for this, I'm gonna be using these posts because what this does is I can actually put my legs behind the post like this and it holds my leg backwards. So if you don't have something like this, that's totally fine. Just bring your legs out to the sides in a V sit. So bring your legs out to the sides, and then from here, what I like about this is I can pull forward with the posts as I bring my chest forward. So I'm feeling that stretch right in here on the inner part of my thigh. Now, if you don't have a post, just lean towards the front, reaching out until you feel that stretch on the inner part of your thigh. They used to have a machine at the martial arts studio I worked at, or I trained at, where you put your legs in this thing with a crank and it would crank your legs out to the sides. So this is sort of like that, where these posts are stopping me from bringing my legs back in together. We're gonna hold that stretch. This I can feel all the way, very flexible, impressive. Hey, thank you. I feel like I'm not that flexible compared to where I used to be, but I really appreciate you saying that. I know some people, this is pretty intense. I would encourage you to, even if you have to start with your legs real close together, it's about working your way out to this, because I didn't always used to be this flexible, and I hope to be even more flexible than this in the future. Because I know for me, I can feel this in my low back. It's tight enough where it actually is affecting my low back. Because these muscles attach into your core muscles. They actually overlap, sort of like this. And so as one pulls, this one stops being able to work as effectively. I'll talk about that more. I have a video upcoming about this. I'm working on the script right now, where it's how the adductor muscles affect your pelvis and your core. So a lot of people think, oh, I have a weak core. Sometimes it's they have a tight pelvis, or these muscles are tight. So I really encourage stretching them. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to hold for 20, 30 seconds, holding with leaning towards the front. And then after I back off and relax, and I'm doing multiple sets of stretching, just like I would with any other muscle that I'm working on. So from here, pulling towards the front, feeling that stretch, holding for 20, 30 seconds. I'm just looking at my watch to make sure I'm counting a full 30 seconds. what I used to do back when I was in school, I'd be working on homework and I'd be sitting like this with my books and papers in front of me, working, and that's when I used to be able to do full splits because I was stretching like that for an hour at a time. And so I built up a lot of flexibility. I've lost some of that flexibility over time, and that's why I'm trying to get that back in these hip muscles. So to do that, it can happen quickly. You just have to be diligent about doing it. I'm gonna try and do this at least a couple times a week, if not more. So one more set, and then we'll go on to some chest flexibility. So pulling towards the front, feeling that opening up your hips right in here. Trying to keep your back straight, bringing your body forward. And holding for 30 seconds. I know my standards for flexibility are pretty high because I'm used to doing martial arts training, and for martial arts, this is not that flexible. But the more important thing to me is how does my body feel? Right now, I feel like, oh, it's hard to, this knee has some difficulties and my low back on my left side feels the tension. So because of that, I know I need to work on the flexibility on my left side. So that's the more important thing to me, is not can I do full splits, but how does my body feel? Okay, now this is the hard part of getting out of this position with this post. So what I'm gonna do is slide over to the side to get my foot out. Now careful, if you do this with posts, don't get stuck, because if your legs are behind it, you can actually lock your legs in there where you have to get out from behind it. So just be careful if you do use a post like this. So now we're gonna stretch the chest muscle. So you're gonna put your elbow right at shoulder height. And then from here, I'm gonna turn this way. So if my left elbow is at the post, I'm turning right to feel that stretch across my chest. And holding for 30 seconds. Now it might be that you feel really tight and you can only get this far, that's okay. The further you go out to the side, the more of a stretch that's gonna be. Just feel that right across here. A lot of people are really tight in their chest, don't even realize it. So they go to do this stretch and suddenly everything in their shoulders feels better, their back feels better. And so if that's you, it can indicate that your chest is actually tight, where you're internally rotated, where that muscle that pulls in and down is real tight. I know for me, my right side is actually tighter than my left side. So I can feel this much more right in here. It's probably because I edit videos and work on my computer with my right hand with the mouse. And that's impacted how this shoulder is, because I sit in that position a little bit too long at a time. So something I'm gonna try and do is break that up a little bit, where I take maybe 20 minutes working, then a couple minutes moving around doing something different, then 20 minutes working, a couple minutes moving around where my shoulder doesn't stay in that position for a prolonged period of time. Oh. So as that tightens up, you can actually put pressure on the nerve in your shoulder. If you've ever hit your funny bone, that nerve actually threads up through your shoulder up here. So imagine hitting your funny bone right here in your shoulder. You wouldn't want that. So that's why we want to stretch this muscle to make sure it doesn't compress in on that shoulder. So now we're going to stretch the lats, which run along the upper back. So you're gonna reach overhead, grabbing onto a post or a door frame, just something that's secure, pulling over, feeling that stretch. So I'm actually, as I'm doing this, I'm leaning away from the post. So I'm letting my body hang off to the side, feeling that stretch along the lats. Now I can turn a little bit to increase that stretch. Or use my other hand to push away. I'm trying to hold for a full 30 seconds. Same thing other side. Pushing out and away, feeling that stretch all the way from your shoulder down into your low back. Oh. I need to do this one more often. I can feel my low back is really fighting against this. It's actually, so I feel it in what's called the quadratus lumborum, which is not usually the primary spot you feel this. That's a muscle that goes right here from the rib cage down to the pelvis. And it deals with side to side tilting. So as I'm tilting to the side, I'm stretching that muscle. So I can really feel that on my left side. Now that's another thing that gets tight, where it's having to work a ton extra because my adductors on that side are tight. So because the adductors are not doing what they're supposed to, it's shifting my pelvis, and then the quadratus lumborum has to stop the pelvis from tipping to that side. So a lot of things that go wrong as soon as one muscle gets tight, and that's why we want to stretch, maintain that flexibility, and that's why I'm working on building more flexibility in my left hip adductors. So we're gonna call it a day there. If you like these live streams and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there. Good talk.